Today I messed up by playing video games while my girlfriend was over. So I was dating my then girlfriend at the time for about 10 months. We'd obviously been talking for a little longer than that. From the beginning of our relationship, we basically lived together on the weekends, spending the night at each other's houses from Friday night until Sunday night. We'd also see each other Thursday nights and text every night. The last month of our relationship was a little shaky. She'd been looking another job for a while, and I was trying to help her in her search. I actually found her the program that she's currently enrolled in. We'd also talk about it over text every night. So one Saturday we went out with a friend and came back and I played some video games. This was only the second time I played my Xbox in front of her. After a while she got upset and said that I loved the game more than her. I didn't really take that comment seriously because I'd tell her I love her every day, but I stopped and hugged her, but she said it was too late. She said she was stressed about her job-related stuff, and after I saw her get really upset, I just turned it off, but she was crying and decided to sleep in another room. At some point she came back in the room, and the next morning was awkward. I didn't even know how to react to her because I was surprised she got that upset. She ended up storming out of my house and said that I wasn't there for her. After she left, I found out she texted her ex as soon as she got home. I never brought this up, and I don't think it would have made things better if I did. I texted her to see if she was alright, and I apologized and said I was here for her. Admittedly, I didn't think I was the bad guy and did anything that egregious, but I just told her sometimes I like doing my own thing, but I still loved her. I never played video games in front of her again. We still spent the remaining weekends together in their entirety. I felt bad because I made her upset. I just wanted to have fun on the Xbox for a little while after a long week and a night out. I apologized and never played video games in front of her again, but that was when she started talking to her ex and now she's going back to him. The top comment says, "Sounds like the trash took itself out, bro," and the follow-up comment says, "For real." OP, just don't make the same mistake her other ex did and take her back in 6 months when she inevitably gets pissed at this guy or the next one and wants more drama in her life. Another comment says, "This girl would have had you solving all her problems the rest of your life. She saved you from years of awfulness. If you can't be yourself and have your own hobbies in a relationship, it'll never last." This girl is bugging for real. Let's break this down. You spent almost every weekend together. You were helping her with her job search and you were emotionally available for her. Yet she gets that pressed because you played Xbox for a bit? That's not about the game. It's deeper. It's about her feeling neglected, but instead of communicating like an adult, she went full meltdown over you taking a little time for yourself. Here's the thing. In healthy relationships, space and personal time are just as important as togetherness. If she can't handle you playing Xbox for a couple of hours without making it about her, that's a red flag on how she deals with stress and boundaries. Now, let's talk about the ex. The second she got upset, she ran to him? Nah, fam. That's not just emotional support, that's a foot halfway out the door. She's playing both sides and keeping a backup. You were there for her, apologized, and even adjusted by not playing again, but she was already entertaining her past. That's where you gotta draw the line. Sometimes people project their own guilt or insecurities onto you, and this might have been one of those times. You can't build a solid relationship if someone's still holding on to their ex, like a safety net. So yeah, this girl's bugging. You don't need that kind of energy. Time to level up and move on. Post 2. Today I messed up by following female cosplayers on Threads. The fuck action didn't happen today, but the ticking time bomb caused by my actions in the past exploded today, all because of fucking Threads. Way back last year when Threads launched, I checked it out, used it for a couple days, did a post, followed some accounts, and then proceeded to ingore it ever after. Here is where the fuck up was planted. Amongst the brand new, at the time, Thread accounts I was following, I followed a bunch of content creators associated with Rooster Teeth. This included all the big names, Gavin, Jeff, Jack, Blaine, etc., and some of their partners that show up in content and voice actresses on their shows. This was the fuck up. I followed some ladies, such as Meg Turney, Jessica Negri, and Lindsay Jones. I know they cosplay, but I'm not a big fan of that side of their content. I recognize they do it well and move on if I ever see it, which is rare nowadays as I use social media very little. Never use Instagram or X, only use Facebook for Messenger with older family, and I avoid TikTok like the plague. Well, with the seed planted, let's fast forward to tonight. I'm in bed next to my wife, and while glancing over at my phone, a notification pops up. You have one new follower. It's probably a bot. I swipe away the banner, but my wife gets curious. She wants to know who followed me. I say it's probably a bot. Or nobody. Who cares? She then gives me a look and says aloud that she thinks I'm being dismissive too quickly. She has a lot of anxiety and gets suspicious, so she insists on looking, and I relent. She opens the app and looks at the notifications. It's a nobody. But she then decides to have a look at the homepage feed. One scroll down and she sees a Jessica Nigri cosplay post. All hell breaks loose. She immediately explodes and accuses me of cheating on her by looking near naked cosplay models online. In her anger, she starts looking for more into my followers list. I'm a bit flustered because I had forgotten about who I followed on Threads and can't answer when she screams at me asking why I follow naked girls online. She finds another ex-Rooster Teeth employee who posts cosplay pics. Now she explodes a second time and she thinks I'm a serial cheater, screaming I'm a dirty liar and a pervert. It's a full-on meltdown, and no matter what I say, it doesn't get through. The way she expresses what she thinks at the moment makes it sound like I am actively going online to look up these women and self-pleasure myself to them. A complete fabrication in her own mind. She claims that I must not love her and that she's not enough to satisfy my needs, which is also not true at all. I love her, with my whole heart. It's killing me how upset she is. I try to explain to her that everything she is saying is not true and that I love her. Nothing gets through. Now I'm locked out of the bedroom. I can hear her crying and it breaks my heart. I'm afraid she might hurt herself, as she has gotten dangerously close to it in the past. Depression during COVID lockdowns hit her very hard. My anxiety levels are through the roof right now. Alright, so we've got a classic small thing snowballs into a full-blown catastrophe situation here. But yo, Threads? Really? Who knew that app could cause more chaos in a relationship than an actual affair? You followed a couple cosplayers and now you're getting treated like you got a secret life on OnlyFans? The algorithm set you up, man. But here's the thing. When your wife's already battling anxiety, trust is like a fragile Jenga tower. And that cosplay post just knocked out a key block. Now, as much as the cosplay follow seems harmless to you, her brain's on DEFCON 1 right now, imagining you're out here living in a fantasy world with Jessica Nigri as your personal muse. It's illogical to you, but to her, it feels like betrayal, even if you didn't intend it that way. You gotta address the feelings she's having. Logic's not gonna save you here. Don't come at her with, "It's just cosplay," because to her, it's emotional cheating. Real talk though, she's projecting some deep insecurities onto this situation. That's a you and her issue to work through together. You've got a fire on your hands, and trying to smother it with, "but it's not a big deal," is only gonna make it worse. If she's locking you out and spiraling, it's time for some serious reassurance and maybe a convo about boundaries and what's really bothering her beyond the cosplay thing. Top comment says, "Hey, I was the wife before. Then I got therapy. She needs therapy. What do you think in the comments?" Today I messed up by taking the wrong magnesium supplement for decades. My husband recently went to the doctor for routine blood work checkup, and the doctor suggested a magnesium supplement to help him get to sleep at night. I thought, great. We have magnesium. I've been taking it for years. Husband points out that the doctor specified magnesium glycinate. We have magnesium oxide. Didn't think much of it other than the doctor had mentioned less stomach upset with the glycinate. We promptly got busy and I forgot to order the supplement until last night. A little history: I've been taking magnesium since I was a teenager on and off. I have chronic anxiety. Back then we called them my happy pills, and it's possible that they were actually the glycinate because they seemed to help my mood. But once I was out in my own, I either didn't take them or just went to the drugstore and bought whatever supplement was available. Generally, the nature's best magnesium, which as verified last night is magnesium oxide. I go through phases where I take it, and have taken it based on doctor's recommendation even, but I have never noticed any improvement in mood. This last go around, the only benefit I noticed was that if I took 2, it would clear up some constipation with some diarrhea. As we were laying in bed last night, hubby asked if I ever ordered his magnesium, and as I hadn't, we went down the rabbit hole of trying to remember which specific magnesium we needed, and I got curious, so Googled the difference between oxide and glycinate. The first response was that oxide is used to treat things like constipation, and glycinate is used for things like anxiety and sleep. Anxiety and sleep is what I've always been told, yet have not in almost 2 decades felt the result of. 2 decades of shitty sleep that led eventually to a sleep specialist that told me I'm perfectly fine. At least 15 years of trying to manage anxiety with various meds and doctor visits, weekly therapy, and finally, most recently, after a panic attack that put me in the ER, a psychiatrist. I'm not saying that taking the right supplement would have changed any of that, but I have spent the last 2 decades thinking magnesium just doesn't do anything for me. When it turns out I've been taking the wrong supplement the whole time. And as icing on the cake, as I went down my Google rabbit hole last night, I ended up on a Reddit thread what when I exited out of left me on my Reddit homepage on my phone to be immediately informed that an iconic musician in our community was tragically killed in a horrible motorcycle accident. Something I would have learned eventually, but really didn't need to find out as I was trying to go to sleep. Just because I'd put my book down to Google magnesium.